Howdy, everyone, and welcome in. I want to thank you all so much for joining me today. I'm so excited because I checked my analytics. I only check it once a week now because this is not a popularity contest on YouTube. However, in 28 little days, just short 28 days, you as viewers, you right there as viewers have got me 189% more views than usual. I am so grateful. So thank you so much for this incredible marathon and journey on YouTube. I greatly appreciate it. And thank you for letting me slow down to thank all of you for joining in. I know what you're thinking. You're going to say, are you going to do a button video today? And my answer was, I was supposed to. This has been out on my desk forever. Let me show you a letter that came with this. And again, thank you all so much for joining in. In 1992, Inez Wingrove's button collection from Piedmont, Ohio, was appraised by a certified appraiser. And as you can see on this amazing letter, Inez Wingrove's collection was appraised at $27,375. This letter goes on to say about the age of some of the buttons. It is signed by Kent Mills, and then it's also notarized. And what is interesting about this appraisal, I will get into this in the video when I do a full-length video on the button collection, but I wanted you to understand that there is a great amount of money in vintage and antique buttons. I also want to let you know that I do so many other things besides jewelry, and buttons is just a very small portion of the greater collection. I have talked to you about my art pottery, my art glass, my sculptures, my leaded lights, my leaded lamps, my decorative arts, bronzes, sculptures, art pottery sculptures, also paintings and prints, woodcuts, lithographs, linocuts, you name it, I've collected it over the last 30 years, and I want to bring those items to you in my videos as well. So just be aware that this is in a coming video, and I had once said that I bought Inez Wingrove's button collection, and you might ask yourself, why was she important? She was a relative of General George Custer. So the family lineage was very strong. And some of General George Custer's buttons are actually in the collection. So talk about historically important, but boy, do we have some buttons to look at when we get into this. These are not stored in a bag, but I had these in a box and I just had to move them into a bag. Stay tuned for button videos because I think you will be absolutely fascinated by that information. Why we are here today. Oh, this is out on my desk as well. And this is a fancy show and tell. So that's an amethyst beaded necklace that I used to wear. I did make this by just beading the beads way back in the day and putting a very large clasp on the back of it. And what I paired it with for one of my shows was this bracelet. And I had shown this before, but why I wanted to show you this turn of the century gold-filled bracelet right around 1890, 1910 on this one. What I wanted to show this is not an amethyst in the center. That is glass. And then two opals on the outside, which had been replaced. So those opals have been replaced over time. But I had this out on my desk and I thought I wanted to show you some of the most beautiful amethyst beads as well. I will get into specific videos on gemstones. So just stay tuned and let me settle in. Many requests for restoration videos and also videos on how I replace rhinestones, how I clean jewelry, and how I sort jewelry. I have heard your requests for such videos. Let me show you, this. I don't usually show my designs, but I've been designing as well. So there is a peridot that was purchased by an investor here, and she is having me set it in a pendant, and I have a working sketch, and I'm still working. I haven't decided exactly what route we're going, but I'm just thinking. This was like, I had exactly 5 minutes to kind of put this together, and there's the profile of how the stone will be set into its mounting. So a working sketch, and then I have so many sketches out on my desk. I would show you this other page full, but I don't want to bore you with the details on that. However, I do want to talk about this. This is going to be in a coming video as well. These are all platinum and diamond, sapphire, ruby, and emerald eternity bands. And these are from the 1920s and 30s. You might ask yourself, how did you wind up with, I think I have 22 of them. And you might ask yourself, how did you wind up with 22 of them? Jewelry jars back in the day. I was like the OG of jewelry jars from, all the thrift stores, not just Goodwill and Salvation Army, but, why I got these is they were thought of as sterling silver because they're hardly ever marked on the inside. Stay with me because I can make you a whole lot of money. All right, we'll bring those back. Also, April is going to be a very busy month. So if you don't see me in chats very often, don't be alarmed because I'm still around. I have 11 presentations to give to both national and local organizations. I also I have started to help in the veterinary clinic industry again. So that is happening. I have 2 podcasts coming up. Both will be online and I will advertise them. I am doing live with inspirational guests, industry professionals, and I also have 2 publications that I'm working on the national level. So I'm going to be slammed busy in April. So if you don't see me in the chats or online very often at other resellers and other sales, just know that I'm incredibly, incredibly busy in real life and I just don't have time for it right now. So, and I thank all of you for asking, where have you been? It's called busy. And another thing is too, instead of going into chats, I definitely want to start going back and watching National Geographic specials, the Egyptian series, all of the information on historical, rather than, I just have an affection for gaining more information. So I appreciate all of you understanding that as well. This little parcel I bought at the thrift, and I also wanted to talk about in this video, it's a conglomerate of, are you ready? Here's the list. 1 consignment shop, 1 jewelry store that only specializes in vintage jewelry, 2 thrift stores, but I visited both of them 3 times. So let's get this straight here. 2 thrift stores I visited 3 times over 1 week, 1 online auction, and basically 1.5 estate sale. And why I say 1.5 is I purchased at an estate sale and then a relative had a very small parcel that was for sale outside of it. So it wasn't really 2 estate sales. And that was all within a week, by the way. And you ask, do I sleep? The answer is no, barely. These are sapphire and sterling silver butterfly earrings. All this came from one of the thrifts. And this is, again, full transparent of just pulling it out of the bag. All of these items will be for sale relatively soon. I do hand select everything and again, multiple trips and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of items. And you can see that I don't have this sorted. Oh, how do I get everything so tangled? And I think the reason why is I'm in such a panic in these videos. Everyone says, settle down. And I say, no, I won't. This is glass and frosted glass. People would think it was rock crystal. It's not. It needs to be cleaned up, but those are beautiful Swarovski crystals and then probably tiny black spinel beads. And what I loved about this is I love that, of course, scintillation of all the stones and that very peaceful Buddha face. And what I loved again is when you put it on different colored fabrics, the Buddha blends right in with your outfit. I've often said that clear jewelry does sell incredibly well when open back set because it matches the outfit of your choice. If you have a purple top on, this blends right in, but still gives a very beautiful visual. So loved that Buddha head. Thought that was exceptional. These are those faceted pearls. So the actual pearl body itself, because these are always cultured when you see this. So the cultured pearl underneath is actually faceted. So the seed, if you will, is faceted, and then it's put inside of the oyster, and it is grown over time. So it grows in that faceted formation. Sometimes when you see these cultured pearls, there is that acrylic resin that is put over them, and then the resin is faceted. In this example, that's not how they're constructed. I talked with a person in the pearl industry who is a very dear friend, and actually comes back and forth from Japan several times a year. We talk about pearl quality. We talk about pearl color. We talk about pearl production every time I see this individual. And these are very collectible now because they only did them for a short while. They are still producing them currently, but not in the numbers that they were just a few months ago. So these have now recently hit the market, and this one is spaced with stations of sterling silver. But look at that kind of dove gray, almost light lavender luster over the surface. Very beautiful. Those will definitely come to a sale. And then I bought these because these are just cultured pearls. They're beautiful. The color isn't the best. The luster is average. And just a perfect strand to throw on and go. Not investment grade, but a lot of people have said, please continue to bring on wearable jewelry that we don't have to worry about, that isn't extremely expensive. I've often said in resale, I've covered all bases. I would like these for people, you know, for all, what do you say, for all budgets, I guess you could say that, technically. So, you know, if there was a, you know, better luster or better color or larger size, they would be extremely expensive. These are going to be highly affordable. So that's that strand. Let me put all this away. And I can't thank you enough for the increase in views. It's because you all continue to share me out, and I think I hit over 3 million views on my channel. I should know that by now, but again, this isn't some sort of popularity contest. It's really not. Let me see what, oh, I forgot this. Let's do this one, and let's zoom in a little bit. Let's zoom in a little bit. There we go. Sterling silver, salt, and pepper. And I loved enamel sterling silver items. I think these are Ella or Mika. ELLA probably, or ELA. They're always Scandinavian. Denmark. There we go. And sterling, and there you go, 925. So this is for the pepper. So you put your pepper in this sterling silver mushroom with that amazing, vibrant yellow enamel. Absolutely gorgeous. And then look at this one, the inside of the open salt with this little salt. Oh, I don't know, how did we get dirt inside of all of this stuff? So this tiny little sterling silver spoon, and look at that electric yellow sunshine enamel. Absolutely stunning open salt and pepper shaker. Are you kidding me? For a little tiny mushroom, every time I get these, they sell out. Usually I have another mushroom for a salt and pepper. This is just an unusual design to have the open salt and then the pepper as the mushroom. Really super cute. What says late 1960s more than this? And the enamel, that glass enamel, is in perfect condition. And again, when people fight over, they say, guilloche or guilloche, and I say, well, it doesn't matter because it's both correct. So stop yelling at people. So I say guilloche. That's what I say. So, all right, here we go. Look, I go, oh, I forgot this. I get so excited about these things. So this came in as well. It is Bakelite. It's the carved bow. And unfortunately, all the little black berries have broken off because that vinyl covered cotton cord is usually broken. So unfortunately, what I'll have to do is drill this out and restring this on new vinyl covered cord. But look at that for a Bakelite berry pin with that whiplash bow at the top. Of course, black is not the most desirable, but that was a good one. I couldn't leave it behind. And then we have these. Don't ask me on this one. I have no idea, but absolutely incredible. And then we have, I have to get this out of the bag. We have this one. And we have this one because you know I have a great affection for amber. Sometimes I just can't help myself. I always say, after I buy collections, I go, oh my God, how much did I just buy? But every single time, within, weeks now, within a few weeks, everything is gone. I do list on eBay. I do sell. Oh, I should probably promote Bully Run on this as well. So if you're new to me, let me go grab that. If you're new to me, I should pause the video, but I don't think I'm going to. Let's see here. It was on my desk. If you're new to me, go over to Bully Run Coffee and please subscribe. Jeremy's surge in viewership is going through the roof. And this is my partner Jeremy's coffee shop, basically online. And this is his YouTube channel. So please go over to Bully Run Coffee on YouTube. I will try and remember to drop that in the description box. Possibly just a link you could click on to go over there. I don't think I've ever done that before. I don't think I've ever created the link before. And we have sales every Tuesday on YouTube. And most of the items in this video, hopefully by the time it airs, most of the items in this video are going to be in that sale on Tuesday. So this is just magnificent for Amber, and that's genuine, absolutely fabulously large and lush pieces, newly strung, which was great. Because a lot of times the old cords are broken, but look at that. And this would glow with blacklight, absolutely. One way to check for amber, only one way. Is it foolproof? No, but I will do an amber video, so stay tuned. And this is genuine egg yolk amber. And what I loved about these is I liked the modeling and color from that deep orange into that true yellow egg yolk. Really gorgeous and absolutely wonderful for the coming summertime fashion sense. Let me get some of these little pieces and parts out of the box. And this. Artist made absolute goodness. It is some sort of iridized leather and rubber, and I just don't know what's going on. And then into these lava stones that created this gorgeous, textured, undulating, almost torsade effect. And I loved that color punch of that bright orange of these little scrolled flowers. This has to be a somebody, meaning it has to be an artisan that was known for this design. And I wish you could see this whole thing. I'm so close up now, but you get the feeling of the undulation of form. It's very, very large scale, extremely large scale, and a sterling silver toggle at the back. Let's get into what you're here for, because this was the mega hits. These were the ones that just completely freaked me out. And I wasn't supposed to do it this way because this pad is extremely dusty and extremely dirty. But let me push you into the frame here. I'm just going to go fairly quickly. This is a very large black diamond and 14 karat gold ring. Let me pop it out of the box for you. What had happened with this is I have had local requests for certain things, and I do have a client base here that continues to ask me for things. And it's great because that is how you grow a business. And over 30 years of me doing this, people know to come to me because I can beat retail by a mile all the time. This is 14 karat white gold. And what I loved most about this is the shape of this form. It's very voluptuous. It's very streamlined. Very modern, and I love that they mounted the diamonds on the side of this rather than where they would normally put them as a channel down the sides here. Loved that tight kind of graduation that points up towards this very large black diamond. And then on the side, I've often loved when they've bezel set the two side stones, and those are two small black diamonds mounted underneath that robust and thick prong mounting for the top. Black diamonds are very much so, what do I say, a very specific group of people that purchase them. They're not widely collected. I understand why, but I think that they are very attractive when done correctly, and I just find this whole design to be magnificent. So there is a black diamond in 14 karat white gold. That'll probably come to a YouTube sale maybe soon. I don't know. May not keep it for the local market. I might decide, it's like I've told Jeremy so many times, and all of you, you know how I do this. I just go with it. I just do what feels right. And after 30 years, your instinct kicks in the business. This is 14 karat white gold and a cubic zirconia that is completely a synthetic stone. And it's 14 karat white gold, but what I loved is, again, look how thick that mounting is for 14 karat white gold. And the price of gold today, it was over $3,000. I don't know where it wound up today because I don't watch it that frequently. This is either gold filled or low carat gold. I'm not sure which because I haven't looked at it just yet, but that's a bullet shaped moonstone. Look at the color of that giant moonstone, and it's like a gumdrop. That is a bullet-shaped cabochon moonstone. Look at that blue inside of that stone. And I wish, there we go, show it on black, right? Incredible, incredible I just get lost in some of these stones sometimes. So that was, of course, a yes. You should see how much is on this tray back here. I wish you could see all of this. Stay tuned. This is Seraphinite. And Seraphinite, again from memory, is mined in eastern Siberia inside of Russia. The most hardness, it's a very soft stone. So you really wouldn't want it as a ring because you would just, beat up the finish and beat up the polish. I think it's a Mohs scale of a 3 or a 4, I think. I think it's maybe a 4. It's very soft, but that's Seraphinite. And beautiful, beautiful specimens in these earrings. Post-back earrings in sterling silver. Those are for sure going to come to Tuesday's sale. I think this Tuesday's sale. And then I told Jeremy too, super excited because we're going to take a break from the sales. And because of all the things that I have going on with the podcasts and the publications and, assisting with veterinary medicine, I'm going to be extremely busy. These are amethyst and sterling silver. Very classy, very cool, but artisan made, completely hand constructed. Let's go into the sterling rings because everybody loves sterling rings. Let's just line them up and then we'll do all these. And you're going to say, oh my gosh, you could just do a video on sterling rings that you bought this week. And I would say, you're right, I could, but I'm not gonna. This is just a small sampling. Oops, I forgot this one. This is a small sampling. So cultured pearl and kind of that brutalist melted sterling in the center. Loved that these pearls are set on the outside of that melted band. Look at that. It almost looks like a glacier formation. And then these like pillows of the most beautiful pearls set on posts and glued down, very secure. Look at that, though. Loved that black oxidation against the beautiful elegance of cultured pearls. Absolutely gorgeous ring. And then we'll go into Larimar, probably Apatite or Blue CZ. I'll have to check these out. Maybe small diamonds in this one, but Larimar and a larger size, probably around a 9 or a 10. This one is great for just incredible vintage turquoise. I loved these two radiating lines of rock crystal that had grown, or quartz that had grown into that turquoise. Absolutely stunning mellow green color and a very early mounting. I've always been a fan of this asymmetrical leaf or feather design. The double rope twist, very well thought out. I could go on about that forever. Garnets, a 3-row sterling silver, great mounting. I don't buy much of contemporary sterling silver, but this is Michael Valitutti, and I don't usually get into his work. But when I saw the elegance of that band, and I saw this massive citrine, and then those clear stones, and just the open work in that bicolored metal. But look at the way that this center prong throne style mounting is constructed. So regal, right? Absolutely went nuts. Signed NH for Michael Valitutti. This one I've yet to ever really figure out. There is a slight restoration on one stone. I think one of the baguettes is cracked somewhere. I think one of them is cracked somewhere. Synthetic ruby in the center, I do believe. And sterling silver, but look at that mounting. And so architectural and so bold. That takes a lot of courage to wear. Look at it on my hand. And I have huge hands, but a great, great ring. When I see this kind of artistry, I just respond. That's all there is to it. I see it and I go, I have to have it. That's going to resonate with someone. And then this is peridot. And I loved that yellow green of those natural peridot, sterling silver, and a great kind of radiating starburst mounting. This is always a universal in jewelry. I've never struggled to sell a cluster design like this. They always sell out. Loved the weight of the sterling. That is oxidation down in there. I am going to leave that. If someone wants to polish that, they can. I just like that it proved that it had been around for a little while. That's all. That it is more vintage than contemporary. Let me take all those off. Oh, Ooh, let's do these to keep everyone here. Let's do this because I want to do a good, better, and best. So here's a good. That's a good cameo because she's not just the most, average beauty. She's absolutely gorgeous. So that's very good for a cameo. Then there's the better. So we have the good, the better. This one's from around the late 1940s on this one. Could be slightly earlier, but not by much. This is not Victorian. So other people say, oh, that's Victorian. No, no, no. No, it's not. Not on this one. That's not Victorian. Keep your pants on. That is later. Probably could be as early as the 20s, but definitely I still get a 40s vibe from this. Anyways, then there's this one, which is Victorian. And this is hand-carved shell from Italy. Hand-carved shell from Italy. This one's very early. 1850, maybe into 1860. Exceptional detail in this headpiece. This has been around so long. Look at the wear pattern. All those tiny little details are all worn down because this has been worn for so long. Look at the lips, the nose, and the eye. Love that translucency of the skin tone. Really incredibly well done. Very classic. This one is missing the flip-down bail. This has been replaced. This has been replaced, but this is a Victorian original. And exceptional. So good, better, and then are you ready? Are you absolutely prepared? I know. I went, what on God's green earth is going on? So I had to. I had to do this. Let me put these other two down. I had to do this. And this is known to be Athena. This is certified as Athena. And some people, would say maybe Minerva. They're interchangeable, but this version is Athena. There are a few little hairlines that, again, when I had kind of put a little bit of, I did try to hydrate this with a little bit of oil, and it showed those cracks a little bit more. But we'll get into how I restore some of the dried out cameos that I find. But this was so chalky, it's almost that someone had dipped it in a cleaning solution. Please, I beg you, do not dip your cameos. Do not clean your cameos. Do not do anything with them, but keep them in, shall you say, a small box, acid-free lining, and kind of open to the air. Not in any sort of humid environment, and also low temperature, moderate temperature, I should say. They like room temperature, not too hot, not too cold. It's a natural material. It's shell, right? So anyways, but now those cracks have been kind of softened over the last few days because of just natural oils on this surface. But look at that mask. Look at her face, and incredible detail in that mythological beast above her head. Look at the tendrils of hair and that shield on her shoulder. The tendrils and the grace of that. Look how that just captures the essence of the flowing hair, and look at that armored kind of gown. But that face, that's the money shot right there. Again, I should clean it a little bit more, but I just didn't want to do too much. I always say in vintage and antique jewelry, less is more. The back construction, you'll see those kind of little faint hairlines. We'll discuss that later. It's never a problem when they're not a crack. If it doesn't go all the way through and you can't feel it with your finger, see there's no resistance there at all. You just go over it with your finger. Those are internal inside the shell, almost like natural growth lines. Over time, they can sometimes get worse with the humidity or the concentration of water in our air, per se. This is 14 karat yellow gold and monstrous. Look how large this is. So I just absolutely sprung into action and I said, it's a must. So the cameo could be slightly earlier than the mounting as well. I've delayed too long on that, so good, better, and best with cameos. Now, I will be doing another cameo video, and if you haven't seen my previous cameo video, please go into it. I got lucky on this one. Solid 14 karat yellow gold, not signed, but I got very lucky on this. It weighs like 4.5 grams of 14 karat yellow gold. Absolutely loved the detail of the engraving. And just, I always go after such things because we're not seeing them anymore. Over time, so many have been melted down, but I just loved this as a piece of history as well. So we'll get into that in coming videos. 3 smaller pendants, and then one that'll take us into a brooch that's slightly off camera. This is black coral. I'll talk about black coral in a video, but I wanted to show you a piece of genuine black coral carved as a frog. Look at this sterling silver owl with Swarovski crystal. owl. I said to myself, signed down here, and really cool for an owl pendant. And look at this little scrimshaw bunny in sterling silver. I guess it could be your buddy, right? Sterling silver, and look at that little detail on that. That was a bonus at the one shop that I was at. And this. So this will take us into the brooch. This is butterfly wing under crystal. These are always English. Sometimes they are only marked sterling, but these are always English. And this does need a bail at the top to be a necklace pendant. But look at the mate to it. What in the world is going on? So as soon as I saw this, I said, yeah, that's definitely going home with me. This is going to be a tough one for me to sell. Investment wise, because the size of how big this one is, this is probably going to be a keep for a little while, because that electric green, the orange and the purple with that zigzag of white. But yeah, I said to myself, sterling silver under crystal, and kind of a match set, obviously, without any damage as I throw it across the room. Oh my god, I almost knocked the whole box over. What a messy video. Sterling silver bracelets that were in the box. And what an unboxing today. I can't tell you how excited I was to see some of these pieces. Arts and Crafts Original on this side. I've had a bracelet similar to this a couple times. It always sells very quickly. And then kind of that reeded bamboo finish. Sterling silver, 1920s, 30s, 1940s, 1950s. So there you go. And bangles are now up in value. Don't ask me why. Ebb and flow of the market. 14 karat gold and cultured pearl studs. Again, I wasn't selling them forever. They just were sitting around forever. And now every single pair of pearl studs I get, they sell out. And the luster on these, I wish you could see the color of these. Sometimes the light really flashes these things out, but they have the most gorgeous kind of pinkish purple, pinkish blue iridescence and a color to them. 2 sash pins, couldn't decide on which one. Some people like gold tone, some people like silver tone. They're right at the same time period, 1890, 1915. These are absolutely beautiful versions, so those will come up. Again, sash pins weren't selling for the longest time, and now all of a sudden, every single sash pin I get, they go crazy. And these were worn on sashes in the late Victorian times. That's their only function. Really big, thick pin stems and that simple rollover there. So just look out for these because they can sneak through. You can find them. Pearls, of course, I always have luck. This strand was just unusual because it was spaced with all these different colors. Perfect for springtime. Again, I do buy and sell seasonally. So when I find something like this, I realize this is not going to sell in the fall. It's just not going to. I mean, it might, but it doesn't sell the same in the fall. So things are sometimes very cyclical in fashion or fads, and seasonal as well. So let's do this, this, and this for brooches, and these were the 3 that I chose. Monet, didn't really care about the name, but I did love that moon glow kind of stone in the center, enameled wings, and I felt it really paired well with that, which is Forbidden Fruit. This is from the late 1960s. A lot of people knee-jerk and say that those are always Lucite. This one is in the Lucite family, but could it be a thermoplastic on this specific version? Yes, it can, but I love that fuchsia on fuchsia. You hardly ever see this color variation in the Forbidden Fruit pins, and again, those weren't selling, then they were selling, and then they stopped selling, and now they're selling again, all within a year. So within a year, the ebb and flow or the fads have changed within a year. It's very strange times for vintage. This is molded lapis glass. I could go very close on here, and you could see that this is not carved. This is actually molded, and you can see that it's glass. Yes, it's dirty and need cleaned. It is silver plated. I do not think it's sterling. I think it's silver plated, but great for an Art Deco brooch. 1920, right at 1920, 1925. And really, really beautiful for its size as well. A paperweight because I had to. The color of this is definitely going to come to a sale very soon. Again, I attribute these to Perthshire. I know that these are not Murano. A lot of people just rush to judgment and go, oh, the Latticino, and oh, the canes, and oh, the color. Those are for sure Venetian or Murano. No. Don't rush into it. This is Perthshire. And what I loved about that is it may not be because it's not ground and polished, but it might be is it Cathinus? Cathinus. but I believe that this is Perthshire based on color and construction. So there could be a little, little debate there on origin, but definitely not Murano. 14 karat gold and opal studs. Had to have them. If you would see the color of the opals, you'd go crazy. And then very, very, very demure and very small pearl stud earrings in 14 karat gold. So anytime I see the stud earrings now that are simple, they're a definite pickup because they sell so quickly. Then we'll leave you on these two pieces. And there are now, I looked over this way and there's over 17 more pieces that I was supposed to talk about in this video. So this is a massive, handsome, beautiful sterling silver and smoky quartz bracelet. Very modernist. Look at that construction. I always say to you, look at the way things are put together. Is it haphazard? Is it well thought out? Is it balanced? Is the craft exceptional? Look at the craft of this. And then when you put this in here, listen to that snap. Are you kidding me? Listen to the snap. And then it locks in. It's not going anywhere. So I always look at the craft of these. More contemporary, meaning post-1970 on this one. Yes, post-1970 on this one, but completely hand-constructed in Mexico. It's very heavy. I think 165 grams of solid sterling silver, and boy, is it beautiful on. And I should say handsome. It does fit, and it's a larger size wrist. Look at the way these forms bend the light. As soon as I saw this, I said, yep, I'm doing it. Then we'll go into this one. And I believe that this one, I always blank out on this gentleman's name. I think it's Antonio Reina, and that's Antonio and then Reina, which is R-E-I-N-A. Spelled differently, but that's again from memory. And I do believe that that is Antonio Reina's mark. A, and then a big A, and then a little R. That's the model number. And there's the Sterling and Tosco mark. Incredible Art Deco style bracelet. And of course, you know how I am. I've always loved that hidden clasp. I always think that it looks like part of the design. Incredible. He was a known modernist maker, and the most famous thing that he did that I've had so many times over the years was that kind of spiral brooch. It looks like a sun with like little spokes. And he also did the grape with the leaf and the tendrils brooch. This is slightly unusual for Antonio's work because it has that very heavy Art Deco style. Very graphic. So that's, I bet you any amount of money, 95% of this is going to come to this coming Tuesday sale. So I just wanted to do a quick haul, show you what I've bought over the last, and it was only 1 week, but boy, I was out there looking for stuff. Let me clean up this jumbled mess off camera, and I want to wish you a happy day. If this airs on the weekend, have a magnificent weekend. Take some time and go to the park since the weather's starting to break. Like I've said before, if you're kind of bored or moody or upset, go to an animal shelter and spend some time with the cats in the cat tower, or go walk a dog become certified to be a dog walker at your local shelter. Try and do something positive with your time. And that's why I said you may not see me online very much because I want to live. I want to get out and enjoy. I want to encourage you to do the same thing. And while you're out, check out your pawn shops, go to the thrift stores, go to your yard sales, and estate sale season is just getting started all over the United States. I want to thank you again for sharing out my channel. Thank you for supporting me. I do appreciate the love, and I'm going to be incredibly busy in April, but you know how I am. I will never forget a single one of you, and thank you again for joining in. I love you because I do.